Wipe coding in a full stack environment. That is going to be an amazing implementation. I have built full stack application using Laravel, React, and Next.js applications. And also I have worked with no-code application. I have built a fully fledged no-code application. I wanted to try wipe coding and how it is really practical on building full stack application. So I thought of building a cool application using pure wipe code, me not coding, and then using my voice and then chat and then AI generated coding to build this complete application. This application has a couple of stages. One is to come up with the idea. So I came up with an idea where I should be able to use a mobile first web application where it should look nice. I can log in, I can create multiple users. I should have a dashboard. But the main feature of this application is to have a couple of forms where I kind of go to each of the form, fill these details, and then it somehow get stored in different ways. So I will walk you through on this application as well. But ideal scenario is I put an input, it get triggered on a webhook, it goes to a different platform, it does processing. So this is called kind of a decoupling. You just take out the front end and then the complete execution, backend management on a different platform. So first I came up with the idea, then I gave the idea to create a prompt to ChatGPT and then went to LovableAI. I pasted the prompt, gave some sample UI that I want to go with. So it generated me the project, fixed a couple of things. Then I took the code, sent it to Git repo, and then downloaded on a local machine. And then I installed VS Code. In VS Code, we have GitHub Copilot. I asked GitHub Copilot to understand what the code is about. From there, I improved the application, connected database, which was Superbase. Once I submit the form, it has to trigger a couple of actions, right? That was completely managed by N8N. So I created an N8N workflow, got the N8N webhook URL, included that webhook URL on the form submission. Once the form is submitted, it gets triggered, the N8N workflow got activated. From there, you can simply create workflows on an N8N. Then that can execute. You can include AI agents, you can include basic workflows, you can connect to Excel sheet, Notion database, even an actual database. You can even connect it to a rack system where it learns the information, stores the information. On the next time when you request for something, it responds from the learning. All of that can be implemented. Finally, the N8N workflow responds back with the webhook response. The application takes it and then show it on the screen. But I did not code them. So I'm going to go through each of the steps in detail, but I will not be coding. I will not be showing the setups, setting up on N8N. I will not be showing setting up on GitHub, all of that. These are just basic stuff. You can just go YouTube and get these done. But I'm showing you the complete flow, complete phases, steps I went through to output such an amazing, simple application. And then it took me not more than 4 to 5 hours. I spent more time on fine-tuning the UI. The basic logic was done very quickly. So without further ado, let's get into it. First, let's go to the application, how it looks. After that, I'll be explaining these steps. So, okay, this is the application. A basic application has a nice logo and the name, and then we have the login, right? So I'm just adding my login password, and then I've added this pin option because this application is mostly used on mobile. So I thought, okay, instead of password, let's use a pin method. We enter the pin, and then once I logged in, I have a UI before the dashboard where you'll be able to access these 6 pages. Now, this application is about me managing my expenses, income, thoughts, reminders, creating calendar events, and making order for just this is an additional feature that I created to create orders for e-commerce, right? And then you can, of course, add any amount of tiles here or buttons. Now, when I click on expenses, I have given a form Then you can select any of the expenses, or you can add anything if it is if you need. You are going to code this anyway. You can just simply add those in in the in the generated code. Add those expenses, and then you select the currency, and then select the details and type the details. Once you actually fill it up, and then you select the expense, it'll get activated, and then you can enter. Then what's going to happen is it goes and create this record in any format in any application, as long as you have the API or webhook access, right? In my case, it goes to an Excel sheet and then fill up the expenses. Simple as that. So, and then same way income, it's going to be the same. Then I have thoughts. So basically, I have a thought page. So whenever I, like, let's say, for example, I'm somewhere, then I've got some ideas. So instead of me taking notes on a paper on my mobile, I just log into this page, click thoughts, and then I type my thoughts, right? And then when I submit, it goes to a separate, in my case, it goes to a Notion database, and the thoughts are added in Notion. So anytime when I want to access later on, I'll just go through that table, Notion table, and then I can fine tune the thoughts. Could be a blog post, could be a business idea, could be anything, right? So that's one thing. Go back, reminders. So for me to get reminders, basically, once you select this, you select what the reminder is about. Let's say if it is an appointment, you select the date, time, add the details, and then once you click the button, it triggers something. You can hook it to anything, right? That we will be going through. Lastly, events. Actually, events. Then it's the same thing. You select the events, then you add a title, and then you add the details, and then when you submit, it can go to your calendar and then create the event. Same way, orders. So here you select the business, and then you select the business type, select the location, and then select the platform you got the order, and then you just simply type the order details. In my case, you type the name of the customer who placed the order, then you type the address, you type the order details. When you submit, it literally goes and fill on individual columns, because order detail has name, address, mobile, phone number, the details of the order, right? Which means like what they ordered, the product details. This all will be separated and then added to Excel sheet on separate columns. We'll go through that how I did. So this is the setup. So once it's done, let's say you create these orders. When you go to the dashboard shows how many executions have happened. And then I can search by the execution. I can filter by the execution, like if it is completed ones, failed ones, processed one, and pending ones. If there are any failed ones, I can actually go and re-execute it. Gives me the dashboard of a quick overview of what are the tasks got executed, completed, and failed, and processing. Fantastic option. But then I go to setting. Once you go to settings, basically you can create organizations, because this is a multi-user application. So you can create multiple users, and then you can assign those users to separate organization. So I have created 2 organizations here. You can create the organizations here, right? And then you add a code description and the webhook, which is going to trigger whoever logs in, whatever the organization they are, then this webhook get triggered. That's how I just built it. But you can always have your own idea. This is the API webhook that is going to trigger on our N8N, right? That we will go through. Now, and then when you go to users, you'll be able to add any amount of users here. You go and select user, fill this form, right? Add the 4-digit code, then you select the user role, and then you can select the organizations here, and then you can create the user. It's all been built using the framework I'm going to explain. So this is the setup, right? This is a basic application built on React, Next.js, Superbase, plus the UI element I have used, Satchian UI. Now, this is hosted on Vercel. So we will go through on a different video on how to host it on Vercel as well. Now, let's start one by one how we reach it to this level. First, you need to come up with an idea what type of an application you want to build. In my case, I wanted to build an application where it should be mobile first. I should be able to access this on mobile. And then simply when I log in, I'll be able to enter these details. Like, for example, I go somewhere and then I have an expense, or I get a notification on my mobile that whichever the subscription I got, that got charged to me. So now I need to take a note. So usual cases, I take a note on an app. Then at the end of the month, I'll have to go through, and I usually go through an Excel sheet or checking all my expenses, add it to my invoicing system or any management system. Instead, me just simply accessing this platform, this my application, select expense, and then add the expense. Once it's triggered, it gets added to the Excel sheet. So I'm just cutting a lot of time, adding it to a mobile, going to the Excel sheet, adding it to the Excel sheet again, and then calculating all of that. Instead, it just get added. So all of this can be done using this system, but you need to come up with the idea. What type of an application you want to build? You don't need to worry about how the UI works. All of that can be done in a different phase. So let's go through it. So you kind of come up with the idea. In our case, this is the idea. Now, second thing, you need to get some inspirations, right? A UI inspiration, so that you kind of match the your application, the style of the application towards that line. Provide everything in the beginning so the AI understand what type of an application and then how the UI should look so that it builds the entire application for you. You go to Dribble, then you look for the UI inspirations you wanted, right? So basically, you can go and select a UI. So this looks cool. So you get this UI screenshot. You can save this UI screenshots, or you can download them, or you can just print screen. If anything else, you just collect these UI ideas, right? Now you have the idea and you have the UI. Next step, create the right prompt so that you can send it to, in our case, Lovable, to generate the complete application. Now, how do you do that? Is basically goes to ChatGPT. So here I have the paid version. You of course have you can use the free version as well, and then you write a prompt. Basically, you explain. In my case, I usually record it and then send it to make it more human as possible. So in my case, I said I need to build a web application. It should be mobile friendly. Then I ask it to help me on writing the prompt I'm going to give it to you next to make it better so that I can use it on generating this application. So I've just asked ChatGPT to help me on writing the prompt. Then I explain what is the prompt is about. I need to build this application. You can call it Mars AI. The first page will have a form. The form will have a couple of columns. I will list them below. So I need to have expense, income, thoughts, reminders, event. I didn't add the orders at that time. Then each of the uh, form should have these fields, right? Field expenses should have these fields, all of that. Then I asked ChatGPT to generate, right? That was my first prompt. Then ChatGPT went and generated the complete prompt, complete instructions. Then, so once I given the final prompt, then it generated, actually once I given the instruction, it generated me the final prompt. Then I need to add the webhook URL so that it includes the webhook URL as well. Well, I could have done that on the later part, which I actually did it. So you can add a sample fake URL. It will add that fake URL as a webhook. Then you can go and replace that URL as well. So then here, I've added my webhook URL here. Then it uh, generated me the webhook URL option here. So you actually don't need to add the webhook URL. Likewise, you fine tune the code. So you take that prompt, copy the prompt, and then you go to Lovable. So that was my first step, but that was my approach. But you can literally completely include the UI as well. So that was my second step. But in our case, you select the complete, you basically set up the idea, send the idea to ChatGPT, ask it to write the prompt. So you have written the prompt. That's your core idea. With that idea, you go to Lovable. Then I attach the UI here. So I copy pasted the UI from wherever the UI inspiration you got, copy pasted the prompt from ChatGPT, and then generated it, right? So then the app idea was generated, right? So this was the app idea. So what it did when this was the instruction. When I add the instruction with the screenshot, it went and written my code. So this literally built the entire application. You can go to this code section here and then see the application setup. And at the same time, you see the UI, and then you can actually go through the UI and see what it built. From there, you can chat with LovableAI here, and then you can ask it to make all the changes you wanted. So basically, until I get the right UI, I was just uh, communicating with on chat to build the UI. So the UI was built. So I have the complete UI setup. So this setup is done, right? That's the second step. So I tested this on LovableAI and then Firebase Studio. LovableAI gave me the better UI, better interface. So I got stuck with I selected LovableAI. So once it's done, you have, you can sync it with your uh, GitHub. So what you do is simply this is all free. So you set it up and then you connect your application to GitHub, right? So once it's connected to GitHub, your code will be moved to GitHub. Now from there, you can download the code either from here by selecting this edit in VS Code, or you can go to your GitHub repository. You can just simply clone it. You can download it, clone it, anything you want, right? Then the next step is that's done. The second step is done. The third step is done. Now you go to your GitHub repository, your GitHub setup. You download that on your VS Code. So download the code and I open it on VS Code. So we have that in VS Code, right? Now the project file is there. This is where the fun starts. You can set up your Copilot. You can install the Copilot extension. If you search Copilot, you will be able to see this Copilot extension. Just install both of the extensions. Then you get the Copilot extensions here, right? Then this is my entire communication with Copilot to build this application, right? What I did, first step was you go to your Copilot. On the first time, it'll be like this. And then you select agent here. Instead of asking an edit, you select the agent here. And you select Cloud Sonnet and you first tell to the AI that this is the project, explain the project above. You can record that here. You explain the project, then ask it to analyze and understand the complete project architecture. So it goes and sees individual files, primary files, and then it knows what is the project is about. If it is built on Laravel, if it is built on Next.js, if it is built on React, what is the UI library, all of that, you kind of, it's like you have a software developer and then you have an unknown project. You give it to that software developer and then ask him to analyze it so that he can build it. So AI, you ask the AI to do that. So it'll go and completely analyze the project. So once it's done, the next step is just simply communicating with the AI to build your entire project. So this was my setup. After it analyzes, you can ask it, okay, what is the step to run this project? So it will suggest you what are the steps. So actually let you execute those projects without even you um, doing it, coding. So it'll suggest you go through that and then you install the project. Then you say, how do I run? So it'll tell you what to do. So in my case, you simply run the project, right? npm build. So it is to build the project, and then it will suggest you, okay, go for a new console, and then run npm run dev. So once it's done, the project gets built and the project get executed. So you can run the project. Once you click on this, it'll open up the interface, right? So I'll just copy that just to show you how it works. So once you paste it, you have the project ready, right? So the project is ready and then it should work. I asked, can you completely analyze this project and provide me summary of what the tech stack uses? Then it gave me the complete summary. What was the UI it used, UI framework, management, and then it gave me suggestions as well. Okay, all of that. Perfect. Can you help me run this project? I did the same thing, right? So it told me, okay, it sometimes it suggests you it's all one install. So I did the install. It give me the all of that instruction, and then simply you just follow those instruction. Then have I connected to a database? Because you need to connect to a database. That's the second thing, right? So then he said, okay, let me analyze. It goes and analyze. It says that I have not connected. Now I say, can you help me set up the connected to Superbase? And it just simply helped me to run the Superbase npm command. Then it asked me to to include the Superbase uh, authentication. Once it's done, it just go through, right? From there, you can say, okay, can you improve this UI? Can you fix this? It doesn't work. Can you fix this? Likewise, you simply chat with it, and then it will start working on the project. The only trick you need to follow is if you know what the code is, let's say you don't know what the code is, it's usually under um, source. The pages are under source, and then they will be mostly in the right folders. So mostly anything about the page is there on the page. So the minimal way of coding is like you want to change the login, you just select the login. Then the logging page will be selected here. Then you can just communicate, okay, this is the logging page. Can you improve the UI? Can you fix the UI? Likewise. So it start fixing that, right? So it's just, you just talk to it and then you just talk to it and it start fixing things. And then if you know anything to change, you can go ahead and change. But most cases, it does the job, right? So it was the complete conversation I was having with Copilot all along without creating a new chat. That's what a second important point, right? You select the pages whenever you want to make changes, then you can just simply communicate entirely with that. Now, the trick part is sometime when it generates the new code, it of course it just changes the code and rewrites it. Sometimes it make mistakes. So if it make mistakes and if you get stuck and there is a chance that the project can completely get crashed. I mean, you just have to simply redo it. So instead of doing that, you can do two things. First thing is you can save the AI communication. The communication with you have with the AI, you can save it as logs. Then you can revert back to the previous communication so that it will revert back. Then you can redo it. That's the first step. Second step is, since you have installed Git, you downloaded from Git, you can always commit major changes. So whenever I make a change, I just commit it so that if anything goes wrong, I can just go back one step and then fix it, right? That's so important when you're working with AI. And the other thing is you can install this extension, AI version control. So AI version control is actually version controlling the AI. So you communicate with the AI whenever you feel like, okay, this is going to be a huge change. So you just save that communication, a version of the chat you had with the AI under AI version control. Well, sometimes it takes a while to load. Most cases it'll load and you just can save it here, right? Let me show that. I'll just close the window and then I'll open it up. Now, as you can see, you can save these versions, AI communications into different versions. Then whenever you want to go back, you can actually go back to previous conversation and then you can start from there. So that's an interesting part. But most of the code is done here. Now, this is where the webhook URL I spoke about comes in. So the webhook URL I spoke about is N8N webhook URL. So what you're going to do is you build this application and then you connect that with N8N, right? Where you add that N8N here in your application. Um, so you communicate and you build this application, right? Whenever you're communicating and building this application, you you just build over time. Instead of you code, you just build. Here you have this webhook URL. That is the N8N webhook URL. Now, once you set up the N8N webhook URL, uh, that is there in this code, right? You don't even need to know where the code you can place the code. You just can say, okay, this is the webhook URL, paste it, and then add it to this webhook. Simple as that. The more you work with the AI, the more it understands your code. At the same time, actually, the more idea comes in, then you can just build on top of it. Now, where do you get the webhook URL? It's from N8N, right? You can have your own N8N setup on your local server, or you can actually subscribe to N8N on N8N's website. So in both cases, you set up an N8N workflow. So the whole setup works here on N8N. The only thing it gets saved is the login details and then the details that it shows here on the website. All of these details will be saved on Superbase. So you go and set up the Superbase database, right? That's simple as it will even guide you. AI will guide you how to set up and all. You can just simply ask. Here, you create a webhook URL. This is where everything starts, to be honest. So you copy this test URL and then you paste it on your here or on the previous when I mentioned about when I mentioned here when you're creating the prompt. Either ways, you can just paste it. Um, Most cases you might need to change, so you can just paste it here and then you can ask it to add this webhook URL on the system, right? In my case, I said, you know what, I need an organization page where I will be able to add the webhook URL. And the organization page will have this detail: organization name, organization code, and then webhook URL. It created the page for me, and then it created these fields for me, and then it added to the database. Then it saves in the database. Simple as that. It's really cool. Now I got the N8N webhook URL, right? That's it from the application side. So once you run the applications, once you click on submit here, when you click on submit, it triggers the any of this page. Once you click on submit the entry, it triggers this N8N. Once it's triggered, it's open up. Once it's triggered, it gets the data. From there, everything else is N8N. Right? So in my example, I got the order example was completely done. So once I see, check whether the output has orders in it, right? You can even tell on your Copilot, these are the outputs I need per page, per entry. So it rewrites the code and sends the output through the webhook URL. You collect that details to your webhook to your N8N webhook. You get them. What I've done is I saw that it's sending me the details of the type of the entry. So I divided them by orders, expenses, income, likewise. Then I've created a switch. From there, you go to order. I get the order, and then I decide what the business, because you can set up organizations, right? So what was the organization? In my case, if it is Oliola, I go and extract that information. Right. This I can go through a separate video. If you're interested, let me know. I'll create a separate video on how to work on N8N. I actually have a plan on creating a proper structured N18 list of courses. So I will soon I'll be working on that. So you write this information extractor. You create this information extractor, add this information extractor, explain what information you are extracting from. It'll start extracting information from the order form. From there, I have added to a field. I have mapped them into a readable format so that it's easy for me to refer uh, on any of these nodes. Then what I've done, okay, if it is for Sri Lanka, then what is it? Is it COD, prepaid, or no pay? Any of that, then it goes to the Excel sheet, COD Excel sheet. If it is no pay, prepaid, it goes to prepaid Excel sheet. If it is UAE, it goes to a different Excel sheet. In any case, it has to give a response to make sure that this process has actually worked on. This process has actually worked. The response, what I have done is I sent out a response with the response message, right? So the response message I have written here included the details from the edit field, then revert back, right? So in the webhook URL, only thing you need to do is to make sure using response to webhook node, right? So by default, it will be immediately. So once the webhook is triggered, it'll just respond back. So that's not correct. So we'll have to go through the complete workflow. So what I said, using response webhook node. So it's use the webhook response, right? It'll send. Up to that, once you collected the information, then again, based on the response, you can tell Copilot to provide the right response. Like what is the response you need to get? Then you fine tune the pages, right? So that's the setup. Now what I'm going to do is I'll just go through again how actually it was working. Now let's go to this. We are on the live site. So here I'll just create an order, right? What I do, just select COD and then locations is in Sri Lanka and then the platform is Amazon. Okay, so this is the final output, right? Now, once I enter, this should trigger the webhook URL, right? Now, what I do, I'll just execute this. So it started waiting. It wait for uh, the webhook trigger. Same time, I'll just run submit. Now, these forms you can ask the AI to write. So I need a form like this, and now it returned me this. It returned me this. So the complete, this is the return. So it writes me a command and it put my name. It says thank you, and then it's include this detail, and it's actually got saved in my Excel sheet as well. Now you simply have to copy, and then that's it. And then if you want, create a new entry. Once you go to the dashboard, you have this here, and I can search by. And all of this is built without me literally coding. So pure vibe coding setup. So I hope you understood. It is quite uh, hard to explain each of the steps, but I hope you understood. And if you have any questions, please comment. If anything else, I'll be creating a couple of other videos. Uh, they might be helpful for you as well. And hope to see you on next adventure.